starting early just a little bit more, Chan. Don't worry about it. A bit of the pre-stream, the usual things. If I manage to get a bit of a chance to start a bit early, I can do a bit early. Go get your dinner, Mo Chan. I'll see you later. Okay? Yeah, go get something to eat. I'm just starting early. Yes, starting a little early, so I'm a bit casual right now. And it's a bit, I cannot talk too loud. Not too loud. So anyway, how are you, Lucas, this evening or morning? You got out of bed 5 minutes ago, electronic controller, nice. Everyone hear me properly? I hope it's not too soft, I hope I'm loud enough. You're getting ready for bed, okay, good. So just sit back and relax, Maxi. Hopefully today's topic isn't going to be too stressful, but I suspect it probably will be. A bit. Just a bit stressful. A bit. I don't know how loud I can talk, but I think I will have the urge to be very emotional as I am covering the topics for today. But it is still half an hour until that thing starts. So for now, what do I want to do? Oh yeah, by the way, today is the 5th of September, which means it is the official day of the Hungry Ghost. This is like Hungry Ghost Prime Day. So today is the last day and it's also the Prime Day. So all of the ghosts should be out and about. They should be out and about, having a good time before they all have to pack it up and leave by the end of the day. Yes, it is the last day, the Hungry Ghost Festival. Zephyr, can you please shut up? You love ghosts? Oh my goodness. Oh no. But anyway, remember, Lucas? Do not eat food that is randomly strewn about conveniently on the floor for pickup. Do not call your name out loud or your friend's name out loud, their full name. You smell something odd, don't mention anything about it. Someone calls you by name, don't respond to it. Just as the internet people would say, stay in your lane. It's too early for that, Xenar. It's too early for that. What happens if you do any of that? Would you like to test that out? I am not held responsible. I have warned you. Well, anyway, what I'm actually planning just a little bit before the stream starts, I want to do a bit of things I want to do. And that includes, let me have a look. Let me just have a look. Good morning, Junebug. Boop. What a cute name. Yes, don't grab any food at the side of the road. You will end up regretting it. Alright. Since we are on that topic for now, let me have a look at what I want. Oh, yeah. My original plan for today's stream was just to dedicate the entire Friday night to writing my fan fiction, but evidently I have found some very weird things. Evidently I found some very, very weird things. And you will find out soon enough. I hope I can express it clear enough later. Let's continue my daughter's project. Project daughter. Your lip is out of sync. It's always like that. I notice the the tracking is not very well. I hope it's not too out of sync. It shouldn't be too out of sync, right? I hope. As long as sound comes out as my lips are moving, it should be fine. Oh my god, Rina, you're here, and can you please shut up? I think the latency is fine. And I also think the camera it can't be any brighter. So you'll have to make do with it. Alright, let's continue. Rina, you're late. Oh my goodness. All of you are terrible. Extremely terrible lurkers. Misbehaving all the time. Disrupting my activities, my plans. No one is late. Everyone here is early. Because it is the pre-stream. It is a family name. And Doofus, you will have to understand. If you know type of thing. No, it's not. I wanted it to be a fanfic stream, to be fair, but things have happened. I have found weird things. Very weird things. Are there two chats on the stream? Oh no, not again. I think the Twitch chat is still open. There we go. It always happens. I'm so sorry. If there is a extremely accurate embodiment of Lurker-chan in the chat, it will always be Rina. Always with the most disappointing of behavior. What the? What? Muffin, what the? What? Milfin? Milfin, what the? Milfin? My friends get mad at me for sharing the cursed things I find, like 8 marbles to... What? Okay, I'm going to carry on as usual and continue this fanfiction that I'm stopped halfway. I will read what I have so far. Let's see if it's any good. Actually, she held that thought for a bit. She had done fights in the forest for quite a bit. The tall tree lines were great for splitting up a horde, picking them off one by one. But she wanted something a little more. She, however, wanted something a little more intensive. Wanted something a little more intensive. A little more old-fashioned. Mother and father and mother were always the classical type too. Let's see. Father and mother were always the classical type too. Just leave it at that. She started running despite the heavy snow that would slow down just about any man or beast. Trotting through it was effortless to her. To further speed up her destination, she jumped upwards onto the tree line, jumping from branch to branch, until she reached a massive open field of snow, place and field of snow. Plains and hills of snow that stretched for miles. Exactly where she wanted to be for the entertainment to begin. Yes, for 20 minutes. Sushi for 20 minutes. This is the pre-stream. No, never. Not a fan of OCs and self-inserts. They're the laziest, and I don't like reading about them. I don't care about your OC. I care about the series characters. Hordes of Beowulfs surrounded the solitary girl, leering her with hunger-filled eyes, their fangs sharp, and so were their claws. To the feral and mindless beasts of Grimm, this small-statured girl was a prime prey. Rena, can you shut up? Rena, if you don't behave yourself, I'm going to throw the back of the classroom. Small-statured girl was a prime prey. The girl in question. Oh my goodness. Iron Fist? Ivan Iron Fist. Oh wow. Welcome to the stream. UK Deputy Minister just resigned. I've got a lot of stories for later. Iron Fist, thank you for dropping in with your watchers. I am very grateful. The girl wore a black-white gas mask that covered the entirety of her face. that covered the entirety of her face. Her eyes were completely terrible grammar. Hello, Burger Cat. Oh my goodness. This mic is so frustrating. Oh my goodness, this mic is so frustrating. So I missed so much. I'll reread, okay? I know where I stop. Okay? The girl wore a white-black gas mask that covered the entirety of her face. Her eyes were completely concealed with the menacing glow of her mask's crimson lenses. The mask, however, did not cover the entirety of her head, as it left her long light blue hair completely visible and swing in the wind while she wore. Swing under. Under the light black peak. She what's the word? She wore? It's too easy. She adorned. There we go. That bore a triad twin-pointed arrow. Again. It happened again. This stupid mic. For real. Rina, you are a creative individual. You are an extremely creative individual. Now, go stand at the corner there. Don't disturb me. I have a fanfic to write, and in 12 minutes I'm gonna start the stream properly. Alright, she wore a tight white black padded uniform that resembled those of military origins. I'm using a razor one. And a white-black overcoat, also bearing the same three-pointed arrow insignia. Her right hand rested on the black-white hilt of her personal weapon. It was an unmistakable form of a rapier, but to call it that was a stretch. Unlike the thin blades common to the type of weapons, the blade was much thicker, and it was single-edged instead of a needle. The girl's weapon looked undeniably industrial, but also of high technology. Its onyx black blade glowed a bright blue at its edge. By the way, Rina, you are completely wrong. You are not late, Kenboso. You are not late. Anyway, Zero goes, I'll see you another day or later. Up to you. When if you're back. The girl in white did not move, waiting for the hordes of beasts to make their move. Her relaxed posture A silent dare for them to make her day. Make her day they tried, as not long after the as not long after the hordes of Beowulfs rushed towards the solitary girl. Claws raised and maws agape. Beneath the girl's mask, she grinned in excitement and bloodlust. She unsheathed her blade and in a split second, and the frozen waste for a brief moment seemed to freeze even further. A gale blew outwards, originating from the girl, a powerful blizzard-like force knocking the various beasts of Grimm back. The next few seconds became a blur, as Beowulf after Beowulf was sliced, stabbed, and brutalized by what could only look like a force of nature. Okay. The girl effortlessly cut through the hordes of beasts, with a mix of both precision and brutality. She also brandished. I'm going to look for something. Hold on. Let me see. Let me have a look at something for a moment. Weapons. Oh, there's a grenade launcher style pistol. That's not what I want. STA. STA. What an odd looking one. Let's see what are the pistols they have. STA 18 SE. Oh, suppressed. What other pistols do they have? Why does this miniature grenade launcher? Ah. Equally industrial. Maintained. Equally industrial looking but well maintained. Let me have a look at this pistol again. All right, let's just do it. Let's just go with this. But well-maintained arm cannon and precise and instant. She started to dispatch the hordes, some straggling, grim, that were much further away. Every shot met its mark. The shredding through the mindless horde. This is going to be a very long story. It's going to be quite hard. Oh yeah, Lurker-chan, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you could make it. It's almost time for the main topic. But I just want to write a little bit more, and I hope I have enough energy to... Oh boy, there is a lot to talk about. But... Okay, time to dress up. I'm gonna save this for now. And I'm going to start with some housekeeping. Thank you, Junebug. It is very, very heartening to hear that you believe my writing is good. Okay, let me just start off with a little bit of a... Yeah, it's time. Anyway, for those of you lurkers who just drop in for the start of the stream, I had a bit of a short pre-stream. Nothing much really happened, but we're going to start now. Let me just preface this by saying that today's stream will not be very long, as it is a night stream. At most, at the very maximum, it will be probably about 3 hours, but I will make do with the time that I have, okay? I'm going to preface this by a few things. Firstly, it will not be a very long stream tonight. And secondly, there is a lot of things that I've uncovered. Oh my goodness, it is so dark. It is so dark. It is so dark in this part of the back rooms that the camera is not even keeping track of my movements that well. That is horrible. Let me have a look. This should be fine. No, it's not. It's not. Okay. It is what it is. Oh, by the way. Go sleep. Have a good night sleep, Junebug. Oh yeah, by the way, Sub Ivan Iron Fist asked you, are you the same Junebug from Kershaw? Or are you a different Junebug? I also don't know. But you don't have to answer the question if you don't want to, it's fine. Anyway, let's get back to topic. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Chan, you do not understand. You do not understand. I hate the lights. I hate brightness. I hate it. I do not like it at all. If I want to stream, I want to stream in complete comfort and coziness. You're lucky that there's no fluorescent light. It sounds annoying you. But anyway, let's get back to what I wanted to say. A lot of things I found out. And one of the problems is there's going to be a lot of things that cannot be covered in one stream. So if I can't cover everything, we will have to wait for next week Tuesday, okay? So with that out of the way, let's get started. Let me move aside. Alright, let's get started with some very interesting things. Welcome, Trumpet. Oh yeah, welcome, Trumpet. Thank you for the one gift. By the way, Lurkis, too bad Zero is not here, but Lurkis, since many of you are here already tonight, I'm just going to let you all know. Remember, wait, I have to do this. I have to do this perfectly. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the notification button, or else something is going to happen to you at 3 a.m. $5 a month. How can you not have $5? Okay, that's terrible. I'm a nothing. Don't worry about it. That's funny. Okay. Okay, let's get ready. Galileo, welcome. I'm going to start with a little bit of a setting the scene. Thank you, Malcolm. I'm going to start with a little setting the scene, okay? I'm going to... Should I start with the... Let me see, should I start with the illustration, or should I start with the main part? You know what? Let's start with the legislation part first. Let's start with this. So, the star of the show is two things. Firstly, I want to get into this legislation. The UK legislation, the star of the show. Let's start with something easy. This here... Oh, shit. Sorry. There we go. This here is the relevant UK legislation that is going to be the star of just about every incident that is happening in the UK right now. Two specific acts. Let me increase the size of this. Alright. And this one. Alright. These two very specific acts are extremely important for a lot of things. Firstly, the Malicious Communications Act of 1988, Section 1. It is an offense to send a letter, electronic communication, or article of any description which is indecent or grossly offensive, or conveys a threat with the intent to cause distress or anxiety. Keep this in mind. Communications Act 2003. Section 127, subsection 1. A person is guilty of an offense if they send a message that is grossly offensive or of an indecent, obscene, or menacing character. Keep that in mind. We are going to start a discussion of sorts. Well, rather it's more like me complaining about things, okay? Section 127, subsection 2. It is also an offense to send a false message or persistently use a public network to cause annoyance, inconvenience, or needless anxiety. We have these laws. Now you're starting to know, and we're going to get into it now. Alright? What this law essentially is saying, it doesn't matter what you send online is 100% legal, as in it's not threatening anybody, it's not doxing anybody, it's not calling for overt violence, it's not calling for overt very bad things. But these two provisions of these two laws basically say just because it is legal doesn't mean it's not a crime. You notice something odd, right? Lucas, I'm sure you start to notice something is a little off with these two provisions that happened. You start to notice? 100% legal, but 100% a crime. Like my thumbnail, like the title, we'll get to that later, but the thumbnail. It starts to really say, so yes, big questions. What is considered grossly offensive? What is considered grossly offensive? What is irrelevant distress or anxiety? Malicious communication. Basically, the Communications Act of 2003 is just modernizing Malicious Communications Act of 1988.
You will have nothing and you will write it.
Yep. Yes, trumpet indeed. Thank you for the 2 yes, more anarcho-tyranny nonsense. By the way, a few more words. Again, grossly offensive. How do you decide that? How does it make that? How does it make that judgment? Menacing character. How does one make that judgment? And this last part. Use a public network to cause annoyance, inconvenience, or needless anxiety. What is annoyance, inconvenience, or needless anxiety? You know, when I think, let me just give you a little bit of a short list, and then we'll get to the news articles and the big examples, okay? Let's start with a short list of these keywords. Annoyance, inconvenience. annoyance in These are the keywords. These are the keywords. And it is troubling, very, very unironically problematic that a piece of legislation has words that are this vague and subjected to opinions. Grossly offensive. Let's start with something easy. Oh yeah, what is grossly offensive, lurkers? What is grossly offensive? Remember the age-old phrase. Remember the age-old phrase. Offense is taken, never given. That is an age-old phrase, which means what is offensive and what is not is through the eyes and ears of the beholder. Corvoy, you are 100% correct. Vague posting in my legislation, it is a shameful display. A very, very shameful display. So what? Let's just say, could I, for instance, let's just say a lurker comes up and tells me, I love pineapple on pizza. And then I will be like, holy shit. Did you just say that? How dare you? How dare you say pineapple on pizza is delicious? I find that grossly offensive. Police! Arrest this lurker at once. He has said something that has grossly offended me. How dare him? I am so grossly offended. You cannot believe. So yes, these UK people, these UK government people will say, "Oh no way, we won't prosecute you or arrest you over something that's stupid." Ha. What about the cases where a woman got arrested for complaining about the energy bill? Was that a little too grossly offensive for someone in the public sector in charge of energy? Oh yes, I remember that case. Emporal. You're right. There is a video circulating on X where a man said loudly, "I love bacon," and the police arrested him. It's on video. You can find it. The two police officers arrested a man for saying he liked bacon. It literally happened. So yes, grossly offensive. Who gets to decide it? Oh yes, the government gets to decide that, right? The government gets to decide that. Now next one. Menacing character. Menacing character. What the fuck does that actually mean? Lurkers, please explain to me what the hell is that supposed to mean? UK lurkers, if you are still here, explain to me what the hell it means. Menacing character. Let me think of it. Let me remember. I want to imagine. So, I can only expect that menacing character could be some old auntie or grandmother standing outside an abortion clinic, just standing outside silently praying. Is that menacing character? You can choose to be for or against things like that. Just like how you have the right to say things you like.
You will like it.
Just like how you have, thank you Malcolm for the 2, just like how you have the right to say something is good or bad, someone else also has the right to say something is good or bad. Yes. I suppose an old grandmother praying on the side of the streets would be considered menacing character. And yes, Lurker-chan, every man named Dio posing on the side of the street would be illegal in UK. That's a joke, by the way, but I'm pretty sure it's not a joke anymore. Annoyance and inconvenience. Now, this is the biggest. This is the biggest. They didn't say gross annoyance or gross inconvenience or uncalled for inconvenience. They just said annoyance and inconvenience. This is very important. This is a very important vague post. This is extremely important. Because this is the biggest problem. Alongside grossly offensive. Yes, they arrested a hunk cosplayer. So yeah, menacing character. But this is the biggest one. It didn't say needless annoyance or needless inconvenience. No, they didn't say that. The legislation did not say that. They just said annoyance and inconvenience, full stop. Which means, here are the following things that could get you arrested. Criticism, complaining, questioning. So yes, all of this, the process of feedback, by the way, feedback, essentially, feedback could be illegal. Because as we know, feedback is important for everything. Every business, every service, every person requires feedback. You do something wrong, someone calls you out for it, you get better. You say something wrong, someone calls you out for it, you get better. A business produces a product that is not up to scratch, you complain about it, you criticize it, they get better. Under this law, as we have seen in many, many cases, from a mother struggling with electricity bills, farmers in the countryside struggling with increase land tax valuation that threaten to bankrupt them, or else they have to sell their land to the government or to someone else, possibly a big corporation, to avoid the liability. They write a post online. Why is the electricity bill so expensive? What is our government doing? Or the farmer writes a post online. How in the hell did my land tax valuation increase the rates, or I have to pay by 300, 200, 300%? This is ridiculous. And then the police knock on their door. Take them away? Or a police knock on their door? Just say, "Watch what you say, old man," and walk away, menacingly. Menacing character. Criticism creates annoyance and inconvenience towards the target. When you have someone criticizing you, you do feel annoyance and inconvenience. When someone complains about your poor performance, you do feel annoyance and inconvenience. When someone is questioning what you do, finish the sentence. Yes, annoyance and inconvenience. So tell me, what do you think, Lurkers? What are the chances it will just keep being abused again and again and again? Hey, Lurkers, can you shut up? Lurkers? I am having a lecture here. Can you shut up? Please? Can you please shut up? Lurkers? Can you shut up about whatever this is? What this is this production and all this crap? Let me just talk. Let me just finish. Alright. I hope you understand. And then of course there is needless anxiety, the last part. What is needless anxiety? How do you contrast it with needful anxiety? How do you make that distinction? Can you even make that distinction? And who gets to make the distinction? That is the biggest question. Can you trust whoever it is to make that distinction? Spoiler alert. No. Humans judging other humans, that is always a high risk. Who are you to decide in government just because you work for the government? Who are you to decide what is needless or necessary anxiety? We are going, oh boy. I have been seething the whole day. I have been simmering in anger for the whole day at the fucking audacity of UK, especially their Prime Minister Keir Starmer. I have been seething at the blatant duplicitousness, the lies, the gaslighting, the blatant insult to my intelligence, the blatant insult to my intelligence throughout the duration of every news I've read. With that out of the way, we're going to get started. Okay, we're going to get started in earnest. We have gone through the basics, the principles for all of you to keep track of. Now we get to something. Let's start with statistics. Let us start with simple statistics. Okay? Let me close some tabs. Let me just close up. Here we go. I'm going to bring to attention two specific articles. First, let's start with something a little taste, an appetizer. This is from the Times UK. Police makes 30 arrests a day for offensive online messages. The police are making more than 30 arrests a day over offensive posts on social media and other platforms. Thousands of people are being detained and questioned for sending messages that cause annoyance, inconvenience, or anxiety to others via the internet, telephone, or mail. Again, like we said, who gets to decide what is arrestable annoyance, arrestable inconvenience, or arrestable anxiety? Who gets to decide? Let's go to this one. Wrong one. Select Committee. This is the data on arrests and convictions. $12,000 arrests for the year of 2022 and 2023. 12,000 arrests over social media posts. Just for posting on the internet. And this Keir Starmer pathetic. Let me just control my temper a bit. It will do me no good to resort to profanity and too many adjectives. The Prime Minister of the UK has the gall to tell us he values and cares for free speech when he was with J.D. Vance. The absolute audacity. And we'll show you more audacious statements soon. There is more where they come from. This is just an appetizer. Mind you, this is just an appetizer. Wayback Machine is so slow. Here we go. This is just a little more about it. So yes, UK's fancy new law is definitely putting in the mileage. How fancy! Online Safety Act. Protect the children. And how do they protect the children? Arrest people for posts on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. Oh, the government is loving it. Absolutely loving it so much. Oh, and you wonder why. When we go to the petitions, almost 1 million signatures wanting the UK Online Safety Act to be taken down. You really think the precious government is ever going to let go of their golden goose? You really think that? Any of you lurkers, especially of those of you living in the UK, do you really think that they will let go of their golden goose? They are loving this. To take down this law, to abolish this law, is like getting rid of their fancy toy. You really think they will ever let go? You'll have to rip it out of their bloody fingernails for them to even let go of this. For them to even consider letting go of this. You have to rip it out of their grasp. Yes, Lekachan, they will not let go peacefully. They love this law. They love the Online Safety Act. Because of it, they can do anything they want. Arrest anyone they want. They will never let go of it. Never, ever. They love it too much. Just like the vampire. A vampire who has tasted blood for the very first time will never let go of it. So mark my words clearly. Do not be surprised that even if the petition were to reach 10 million votes, even if the petition reached 10 million votes, I wager, if it could ever reach to that number, they would still not let go of the Online Safety Act. It is too precious for them. They love it. Make no mistake. They absolutely love it. So yes, they will not let go of it in peace. So let's keep going. This is just another little taste. This is another one. Let's give it a listen. We will read it together. Oops, sorry. We will read it together. We will read it together. Alright. UK arrests more people over social media posts than Russia. In Russia last year, 400 people were arrested for things they posted online. 400 for the entire year. In Britain, the number was 8 times higher with 3,300 arrests. The offenses range from offensive language to controversial opinions or even posting lyrics of a song.
In
Let's give
Russia
it a
last
listen.
year, 400 people were arrested for things that they said on social media. 400 people in Russia. Obviously, this country is very different. How many people do you think were arrested in Britain for things they said on social media last year?
Go on.
Take a guess.
I have no idea.
3,300.
Really? Arrested for what they'd said on social media?
Yeah.
Really? What sort of things get you arrested?
Well, one example I give in my show is there was a young woman from Liverpool called Chelsea Russell. Her friend was killed in a car crash, a 19-year-old woman.
Yes.
And she posted the lyrics of his favorite song on her Instagram, the lyrics. And it was a rap song, so the lyrics contained several instances of the N-word. Okay? She was arrested, prosecuted, found guilty, given 500 hours of community service and a fine, tagged, and for a year she was under 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. curfew.
My goodness.
In Britain.
In Britain?
In 2018. In Russia last year,
Free speech. Keir Starmer, remember you said you're for free speech? I want to play these words back to you. I want to play this back to you. I'm going to find it and want to play it back.
In particular, perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very
well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular, perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
Well,
we protect it.
What's your advice on the small boats crisis in this country? How would you deal with it? What's your advice on dealing with the small boats crisis in this country?
It's about the boats coming over the channel, so we're taking a lot of action to stop people coming over the channel who shouldn't be here.
But
we've had free speech for a very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
Please, don't lie. Don't lie to our faces, please. Don't insult my intelligence. A woman can be fined, can be arrested, fined, forced to do community work, and have a curfew, all because she posted lyrics to a song on Instagram to commemorate her dead friend. What? And you come out and say you have had free speech for a very long time. I am resisting so hard to use more choice words to describe this very unique display of British leadership. I'm trying very hard. I am trying very hard to avoid using these words, using some choice words. Let's continue. The one we've all been talking about. The one we've all been talking about. Graham Linehan, Irish comedian. He made some posts back in April. And you can agree or disagree with what he said on those posts. It really does not matter because those are opinions. A long story short, let me see if his tweets are here. No, his tweets are not here. Long story short, what he said, let me see. He made a post about transgender individuals having access to the opposite sex bathrooms. You know, the usual ones. The usual comments. You post all of this. If you're in US and you post this, no one bats an eye. People will call you a bigot. People will get upset. But at the end of the day, comes and goes. You post this as a UK national. You reach back the UK, you have armed police officers pointing their guns at you and arresting you. In the case of Graham Linehan, he has a health condition. And because of the stress and shock of having armed police arresting you for posts you made back in April, let me remind, a post he made months ago that just talks about trans people in the bathrooms of women. Guards with guns arrest you. And it shocked him so much it gave him high blood pressure. His high blood pressure was so serious that he had to be hospitalized. And you know what was the punchline? What was the punchline in this whole situation is, you can verify it for yourself. You can verify everything for yourself. But Graham Linehan was released on the condition he does not post on X again. They are dangling your freedom on the condition that you shut yourself up. Let me make it clear, as if it wasn't clear enough. If you shut yourself up, we will let you free. I would like to say more words, but this is getting a bit ridiculous. All of this is becoming so ridiculous. But you know what else is funny? What else is funny? You think that is the worst that could happen, Lucas? You think that's the worst that could happen? Somehow, UK Lucas, your precious Prime Minister, in response to the various protests and outrage about uncontrolled illegal immigration. Illegal immigration, by the way. Boats coming from the sea onto British shores every single day. You would think the best way to do, and your precious Prime Minister say we're going to do something about it. We're going to do something about it. Don't you worry, we will resolve it. We will resolve it. And how did they resolve it? How did they resolve it? Turn the boats back to their point of origin? Process every single person who arrives by the boats illegally, process them and then deport them to their country of origin until they get a proper visa? Oh no. Oh no, that would make too much sense. That would be too beneficial to the voters, to the citizens, with barely any benefit for ourselves, the government. Oh, poor government. You know what is a better option, Lucas? What is a better option? Mandatory digital ID. Those illegal immigrants are already coming in anyway. But what do you mean a boat just arrived and we should turn them back? Oh no, don't need to do that. Just let them arrive. We got a better idea. We have mandatory digital ID. Aren't you happy? UK citizens, aren't you so happy? We're actually doing something now. Digital ID. Oh, what do you mean that another boat just arrived? Shut up. Oh, I'll call the police after you for questioning the government who has your best interests at heart. Trust us. Just so you know, it's obvious that your precious Prime Minister wants this. Yeah, the UK government right now is saying, oh no, we have no plans on implementing mandatory digital IDs. This is just a thought experiment. The same thing could be said for requiring you to put in your ID to access websites that they promised it was never going to happen. Look what happened. Look what happened. Can you really trust your precious Prime Minister to say it will never happen? That is a question, not an opinion. Pipe down, UK government. I'm just asking questions. Just so you know what will... Thank you for the Ruka Erica channel. Thank you for the sub. Just so you know, what are they planning with this whole digital ID thing? What do they want to do? What do they want to do with all of this? Well, on Tuesday, a Prime Minister chaired a cabinet meeting as he pressed ahead with plans to introduce digital ID cards to tackle illegal immigration, which he describes the central issue of his government. Remember, lurkers, British lurkers, UK lurkers, that who have the bad luck to be living in the UK. Just so you remember, your precious government created this problem. And they are giving you this quote-unquote solution to the problem. at a solution no one asked for. A solution so convoluted and complicated when there is a so much simpler answer to the question. If the population is concerned with uncontrolled illegal immigrations by boat, turn the boats back. Send the illegal immigrants who have no visa, no passports on a plane, send them to their point of origin. But they won't do that. They want digital ID. For some reason, that is the solution. And what does this digital ID plan to do? One of the options under the consideration is issuing every person in the UK with a unique digital ID in which they use to prove their eligibility to work, pay bills, vote online, sign contracts, shop. And this is going to be important. Access health information. This is going to be important, by the way. We haven't got into the serious part yet. These are all appetizers. If you think this is already horrifying enough, these are all appetizers. Make no mistake. If you think this is already wild, a wild ride, the ride is gonna get a little wilder. Okay? So yeah, the digital ID is step 1. Step 1. After they implement digital ID, social credit comes next. Because your unique digital ID can now process social credits. Tell me, if you let the UK government continue as it is right now, are you seriously going to believe that they will not create social credit system for their citizens? Are you certain about that? Can you tell me with a straight face it will never happen? I would never dare to say that. I would never. But yes, currently the UK government is doing their very best to fight with their own PR, telling the world, oh no, we're not going to implement a mandatory digital ID. Don't you worry, poor citizens. Don't you worry, we have never thought about that. We are just thinking about it, but we have never really decided to implement it. Don't you worry about that. Until it happens. It is all, don't worry, we'll never do it, trust us, until they do. Let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. And I hope you UK citizens are very aware of this. You know, despite all of this happening, I want to play you something extremely stupid. The audacity. I mean, it's not stupid, but it's more like the audacity of illustrious Prime Minister of Britain dares to say. I will show you this video, by the way.
Representing his
Despite everything we saw, despite everything the entire world is witnessing in real time, despite all of it, okay, despite all of it, Ziziba wanted to welcome, despite all of it.
member for Clacton is not here representing his constituents.
So, I'll show you a video first. No, I'll show you a video later. The context is, say what you want about Nigel Farage. I do not particularly like him, but what he's saying about the UK we can all see, and what he is saying is factually observable. He went to the US to speak in front of the US Congress about the whole, well, UK government being a little bit too Oswald Mosley, and you know why I mentioned this name later. The UK government being a little too nostalgic with their treatment of their citizens. Told to the US Congress, and Mr. Keir Starmer, the most illustrious Prime Minister.
The honourable member for Clacton is not here representing his constituencies in the house that he was elected to. No, he's flown to America to badmouth and talk down our country.
First problem. Do you notice that? Did you just notice that, lurkers? Did you just notice that? Did you just notice a little interesting thing he said? Badmouth our country. Badmouth the country. No! If we heard, I'm going to show you later the full video. He did not badmouth the country. He badmouthed the government. And last I checked, let me go check. And last I checked, you are not particularly popular. The government is not very popular. And if a government is very unpopular, can you really say that the government is representative of the nation? Mr. Starmer.
In the house that he was elected to. No, he's flown to America to badmouth and talk down our country.
Can you ethically say that you are representative of your country when your own people are just this close, this ever so close to revolting because they do not like you? Can you say that you are representative of the country? Let's continue. More things to mention.
Speaker, if you can believe it, he's gone there to lobby the American.
Look at the people here. Look at the people here at the side. They are not jiving with the Prime Minister. Look at the guy to the right. Look at that guy to the right. You can see the disdain on his face. You can see the disdain on his face. Sito-chan, welcome. The ladies at the center and the left. The lady at the center is just confused and put off. The lady to the left is smirking with sarcasm. Sarcasm quite evident in her smirk.
To impose sanctions on this country which will harm working people.
Honorable Prime Minister, Your Grace, Your Eminence, you do know that it's your actions that created suffering for the people who voted you in, right? You do know that, right? But for your policy decisions, but for your government pushing Orwellian-style policies and using the police like a political tool against criticism, would other countries treat you this badly? Would other countries treat you this badly to the point that your own citizens get an even worse off situation?
Cannot get more unpatriotic than that. It's a disgrace.
Cannot get more unpatriotic than that. Such a disgrace. So what do you say when you get your own police officers, use them like a member of the SS, and start rounding up like members of the SS or the Kempeitai, and then rounding up your own citizens for merely questioning you? Would you call that patriotic? The very people who voted you in, the very people who voted your government in, and now you're rounding them up for criticizing and questioning you. Is that your version of patriotic, Honorable Prime Minister? Or am I missing something?
You will have
Am I missing
nothing
something?
and you will write it.
Is there some definition of patriotism that I am very unaware of? A type of patriotism that requires a country's own government to turn on its people. Is there some kind of definition of patriotism that is completely new to me that I do not understand?
Mr. Speaker,
Yes,
on the question
continue.
of the Online Safety Act, that protects children from material on suicide, on self-harm and online predators. And Reform say they would scrap it when their leader...
I've shown you the past few articles, lurkers. And I've shown you the past few articles. I've shown you the past few things that people have been arrested under the Online Safety Act. And I'm not sure whether you picked it up or not, lurkers, but I certainly did pick up something very odd with those articles. I picked up something extremely odd with those articles, and the odd thing is very, very odd. I'm not sure if you picked it up. It's a little odd, and maybe it's just me, but did you notice that there is zero mention of any children? None of those incidents had any children involved. Did you notice that? Lakers, did you notice that? The topics had nothing to do with children. The topics people were arrested for had nothing to do with children. Instead, they had everything to do with political opinions, everything to do with complaining about the government, everything to do with complaining about socio-political issues. None of this attracts children. A child will be bored out of their mind before they can even comprehend the topics that these arrested adults were talking about. So tell me again, Honorable Prime Minister, how can you say your Online Safety Act is used primarily to protect children if so many of its provisions are dedicated to anything but children? It's all dedicated to matured, complex thinking adult topics. Politics is not a kid's thing. Paying the bills is not a kid's thing. Land tax valuation, you're more likely to bore a kid to sleep before they can even comprehend what you're talking about. Council issues, kids would tell you to shut up. They don't care. Politics, all of this. You tell me all these arrests over wrongthink and politics under the Online Safety Act is for the kids, but almost everything we've read so far had nothing to do with children. Tell me with a straight face. You're picking up two, right, controller? You're picking up two, isn't it? Yes. Very odd. Every single case about the Online Safety Act for some reason never seemed to involve children. You would think it actually involves children, but it does not. Very odd. It's always about adults. It's always about old men, old women. It's always about a mother struggling to pay bills, complaining about the government. How odd.
It was asked, well, what would you replace it with? His answer, there needs to be a tech answer. I don't know what that is. Well, you can't run a country on don't know answer.
Here's a better alternative. To be fair to Nigel, he's being polite. To be fair to Nigel, he is being polite. If I were in his position, if I were Nigel Farage for 10 seconds, and this venerable Prime Minister were to ask me, what would you replace the Online Safety Act with? I would say, nothing. It does not need to exist. Why should I replace something that is blatantly against the interests of the public with something else blatantly against the interests of the public? Nigel Farage dropped the ball there. For real, he dropped the ball there. He should have just said nothing. And he thinks it is an own. He thinks, Venerable Prime Minister thinks that not having a replacement for your authoritarian law is a bad thing. What would you replace this literal poison with? Good analogy. So yes, another very funny little moment. I'm going to grab something to drink. I'll be back in 1 minute. We are going to take a chance to watch what specific video got the Venerable Prime Minister into such a... the Venerable Prime Minister of the UK in such a panicked hysteria. Don't go anywhere. It's just 1 minute. I'm just grabbing water. 0, I literally just say 1 minute. Can you shut up, please? It's just a 5-minute one. It's just a 5-minute one, okay? This is just a 5-minute one. So it's just a short watch. And I'll pause up at certain key
Thank you,
parts.
Mr. Price. The Right Honourable Member of Parliament, Mr. Farage, is recognised.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Chairman Jordan, for inviting me here today. And it turns out, with news in the last 48 hours, to have been really rather timely. I'm delighted to reacquaint with the charming Mr. Raskin. It was delightful testimony you gave me earlier on with your speech. But hey, that's fine. You can say what you like. I don't care. Because that's what free speech is. And in a sense, this has all been going wrong now for a couple of decades. We've kind of forgotten the Voltairean principles that we'll fight and defend to the death your right to say something that we fundamentally disagree with. That is...
Alcove, a lot of things has happened. I invite you to watch the VOD later because the stream has been going for, let me just, about 1 hour. Just watch the first 30 minutes is not relevant, but the 1 hour after the 30 minutes is more relevant. There's too much to talk about. There's too much to rewind. So just go from here, okay? Long story short, though, I will summarize this by saying UK police arresting 12,000 people over online posts for the year of 2022 and 2023, and who knows how many 2024 and 2025. And they are using 3 laws. One is the Communications Act of 1988. Another one is the Malicious Communications Act of 1988. The second one is the Communications Act of 2003, and now the Online Safety Act. Basically, say something we don't like, we will arrest you. Good evening, Dwight. Let's continue this video.
The absolute foundation, if you think about it, of free speech, of democracy, of living in freedom. It's kind of why we fought 2 world wars at massive, massive cost to defend that very principle for ourselves and for many, many others around the country. And I first became worried about all this with cancel culture. You know, the idea that we can't have this speaker go to a university because some people might be offended by what he or she have to say.
I am very glad, however, that cancel culture is dying a painful death. I am very glad about that. I am so glad that cancel culture is losing its teeth. Every passing month, its power wanes just that little bit more. I am glad that it happened. If there's a consolation. But still, it's nice to know that culture has turned away from cancel culture. The culture of the everyday person, the culture of the masses has turned away from cancel culture. But now, it's some governments' turn. Some of the governments, some rich oligarchs at the payment processes, they have taken over the reins of cancel culture. But it's not called cancel culture now, it's just called blatant censorship. Blatant encroachment on the regular person's rights to enjoy the things that they are legally allowed to enjoy, to say things they are legally allowed to say.
It is important to note that there is not a parent in the United Kingdom, and I would guess it's the same for America too, that is not concerned about content their children as minors can find on the internet. Not a single parent that is not concerned about this. But at the moment, we're not finding the right solutions. I do myself begin to think that hardware might be one of the solutions, that laptops, that handsets could be programmed so that many apps and many services simply aren't available from these devices. But what we've done is to go down the legislative route. And it's extraordinary that, you know, I come from the land of Magna Carta, I come from the land that gave us the mother of parliaments, and it doesn't give me any great joy to be sitting in America and describing the really awful.
Here's the thing, controller, there is one consolation with all of this. Back when cancel culture was a thing, it was a harder battle. Because it was a mass of people. Damn it, stupid mic. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, if there is a consolation to all of this, cancel culture back then was a harder battle to fight. And you know why? Because it was a problem with culture. It was a problem with people's culture, people's mindset. So when you have the masses endorsing cancel culture, it is a harder fight. But now you have the masses going against it. The masses are freeing themselves from it. And who is there to pick up the reins of this authoritarian mindset? The payment processors and the governments. And the weaknesses of payment processors and governments is that they do not have the popular support. By their very existence, they are against the people. By their very existence, they are against the masses. Well, they make the masses turn against them by doing things that are blatantly unpopular. Last time is different, it was harder because cancel culture, the people were believing in cancel culture, they were pushing it themselves. But now it is entities that are separate from the masses of people, that are imposing their will onto the people. And there is always clarity. When you see certain groups of individuals or certain minorities of individuals with power trying to force themselves on others, because it's very visible, it's very noticeable. Everyone knows they're in a special little clique and they have closed themselves out from the masses. And by that virtue, people will keep pushing back in large numbers. Because the culture is against them. The culture is against those people who want censorship and those who want Orwellian ID surveillance. It was different during cancel culture. It is different during cancel culture because that time the culture was against the people who wanted freedom and non-censorship. But now it has flipped. Everyone is in agreement that you should be able to express your views freely without being victimized by it, as long as your views are lawful and does not harm anyone. So yes, that is the consolation. People always tell me to be black pill. I don't think this is a black pill moment. yes, it's going to be a hard fight. It is going to be a very, very hard fight because at the end of the day, they are still government. They are still corporations. They are still payment processors and banks. It is still a hard fight, but the good thing is I have seen unity in ways that I've never expected to see unity in. Over this online surveillance laws in the UK, the arrest for wrong thing, I have not seen Pak Jo and Pak Yao work together, criticize the same people together. Yes, for sure, there are still petty squabbles off and on. For sure, there will always be. But at the core of the matter, when it comes to things that matter most, it is very heartening to see right-wingers and left-wingers understanding there is a serious problem. And at the core of it, they understand that it is a problem that requires awareness and action. So yes, I argue that now, the early to mid 2020s, I argue that ever since the end of 2024, this new phase of it's not even a culture war anymore. This new phase of it's not like, I can't even say it's a culture war anymore because this has transcended culture war. Because when it comes to the core culture between left and right now, everyone wants to express the opinions they want to express. You can hate how people's expression, what they are expressing, but at the end of the day, both sides want to have the freedom to express it. And governments and corporations are somehow not keen on that. Not keen for the dumbest reasons also. Yes, controller, there's a very good analogy. Back in the 2016s through to the 2023s, it has been PvP endlessly. PvP, left and right, woke, anti-woke. The culture war weirdos from the left and the culture war weirdos from the right, arguing about contesting about their own opinions, contesting on their own ideologies, contesting on their own little issues and agendas. Let it be known, it still happens off and on. As you probably know, I post about them. It still happens off and on. But there is a little shift, a small little shift. It's almost like an understanding between both sides. There will still be bicker, there will still be fighting, there might even be violence off and on, online. But at the end of the day, this is a big problem that will affect both of them. So yes, no reason to be black-pilled about this. There is going to be a lot of hard battles to win, but as long as the masses can agree with fundamental things, I do not think there is reason to lose your will to fight. Proverbially. And by fight, I mean spreading awareness, and by fight, I mean talking about things, complaining about things, spreading awareness, okay? Not literally fighting. I hope you'll never get to that, honestly. I really hope you'll never get to that. So yeah, I hope that brings you some clarity as to why this current struggle is a little easier than the previous one, the culture war.
Authoritarian situation that we have now sunk into. J.D. Vance did us all a service at the Munich Security Conference back in February this year. He really got this debate up and running, and it's a vital one. We've run on since then. The Online Safety Act was put in place by the last Conservative government. I don't doubt for a minute they're good intentions, but sometimes the road to hell is paved with those good.
Oh, by the way, what we have dug into as well, as I showed you in the previous stream, the 2023 Online Safety Act, when it was first introduced, gave no clear provisions about how it would be prescribed. Just be sure, it gave no real explanations or guides or anything on how it was going to be prescribed on the entire population. It's prescription. The whole Ofcom thing, the whole you have to have your face scanned or your ID checked before you can access websites, those were late 2024, 2025 plans, which means it was during Starmer's government that all of this became further added. I want you to remember that. But yes, I wouldn't even grant them the benefit of assuming good intentions. Either way, that law is a red flag from the very start. But it's interesting to notice that when the Online Safety Act was passed back in 2023, damn it, stupid mic. Damn it, stupid mic. Where did I stop? Where did I stop? Where did I stop? Where did I stop, lurkers? Oh, it wasn't muted. Oh, okay, that's fine. If that's fine, you get what I mean. Long story short, I'm just going to reiterate. When the Online Safety Act was passed back in 2023, it did not have all those Ofcom provisions and regulations things. All that Ofcom facial ID scan, ID checks for accessing the internet, those were 2025. They were added in around 2025, which means the whole Ofcom, there are two stages. So the initial passing of the bill back in 2023, it was just basically saying you have to watch for the kids, you have to look out for the kids and all this blah blah blah, and then basically saying the government is in charge of investigating and researching how to execute the law. That was what was passed in 2023. Then 2024 rolled past, then 2025, that was when the whole Ofcom thing was introduced and added into the law. It was added into the law, and it became what it became. But of course, that was according to an insider. You want to check the insider and the video that I'm referencing now, you can look up the previous VODs. It's on YouTube, so don't worry, you can look it up. But long story short, if what this insider said was completely correct, the whole Ofcom thing was only added in 2025. So it's very odd.
Intentions, and we are now where we are. We have a couple of very famous cases. We, of course, have Lucy Connolly, who put out an intemperate tweet after the savage murder of those 3 beautiful young girls, she herself, a mother who had lost a child. It was intemperate, it was wrong, but she removed it 3.5 hours later, sentenced to 31 months in prison. She's now out, having served 40% of the time. I wanted to bring her with me today as living proof of what can go wrong. Sadly, the restrictions that have been put on her banned her from making the trip, which is a very, very great shame. And we, of course, have the extraordinary events that we understood yesterday of Graham Linehan, the comedic writer, and he put out some tweets months ago when he was in Arizona, and months later he arrives at Heathrow Airport to be met by 5 armed police. Armed police, not a big deal in the USA, a very big deal in the United Kingdom. 5 of them. And he was arrested and taken away for questioning. He's not even a British citizen. He's an Irish citizen. This could happen to any American man or woman that goes to Heathrow that has said things online that the British government and British police don't like. It is a potentially big threat to tech bosses, to many, many others. This legislation we've got will damage trade between our countries, threaten free speech across the West because of the knock-on roll-out effects of this legislation from us or from the European Union. So I've come today as well to be a klaxon, to say to you, don't allow, piece by piece, this to happen here in America. And you would be doing us and yourselves and all freedom-loving people a favour if your politicians and your businesses said to the British government, you've simply got this wrong. At what point did we become North Korea? Well, I think the Irish comedy writer found that out 2 days ago at Heathrow Airport. This
Lucas, George 999, George. What remains undeniable is that my friend's daughter is in UK, London. My friend's daughter and son are in London, and she is going to visit them in London. And I fear for them. I fear for them. I don't, if, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. I don't know. It's a gamble. It is a serious gamble to be in UK right now. A very serious gamble. The son and daughter are still fine for now, and I hope for ever. I hope forever. I don't know anymore. There's no way she's gonna change her mind to not go to UK. Electronic controller, that is news to me for this night. Yes, someone told me about that, but what I didn't know, it was tax fraud. But this is another discovery. We're going to get to the main course soon, Lucas. Look forward to that. Because I think I'm going to leave the rest, other things. I'm going to leave other things for a different day. But I want to mention this one, okay? This one I have to mention. I have to mention. Now, a little bit of a history lesson for you all. A little bit of a history lesson for you all. there is an individual. Let me see. How should I work this out? Because now we are getting into the meat and potatoes of this incident. So there is a company. There is a company that originated from US but also has a branch in the UK. It is a company called Palantir. Okay, it is called Palantir. Let's open some. Let me open this up. Archive.is is so troublesome. There is a corporation by the name of Palantir. And what does Palantir actually do? Let me give you a video, a short video, a very short. I will give you a short video. This is a documentary about Palantir, Palantir US, but it's going to be relevant. This company will be relevant to what I'm going to bring
on occasion
up.
kill them.
Check out Palantir shares surging 22% after the company cited a boom in demand for its AI software from the U.S. government.
We're doing it. We're doing it. And I'm sure you're enjoying this as much as I am.
Palantir, a tech company based here in Denver, claims they can revolutionize government systems with their data analysis software, newly powered by artificial intelligence.
They've been hired by the Department of Defense, the FBI, local police departments, and even the IRS and Wendy's to take in the information those organizations collect even more information, and use that data to draw conclusions.
It can be used to completely reconfigure organizations' ontology, its reality, what systems matter, what information matters, what processes matter, how they are structured, what biases are introduced at each of those stages.
We talked to a former Palantir employee, dug into decades of research, and listened to hours of Alex Karp's own words to unwrap the layers of Palantir's carefully cultivated sales pitch, how they capitalize on fear, uncertainty, and unrest.
I don't think in win-lose. I think in domination. This is a company built for bad times. Bad times mean strong finances internally. Bad times are very good for Palantir because we build products that are robust, that are built for danger.
Let's rewind a little.
This is just, you can watch this video in your own time, but this is just a taste. This is just setting the context of what's happened. Long story short, Palantir, for the lack of a better term, it is it's an intel gathering and sorting corporation. They work with a lot of governments and a lot of very big companies with a lot of data. They sort through data, they compile data, they keep track of data, and at times also they collect data. And why do they do that? So that different agencies, different companies, different authorities perform their job in the way that they want it to be performed. So why is Palantir so important? Why is Palantir so important? Well, like I say at the start, Palantir has a UK branch. And it's very important to make... Can you shut up, please? I am talking about something extremely important right now, so could you kindly shut up? For now, please, I am doing important information right now. And yes, by the way, Rena, what I want to say is, Palantir is a very powerful and important, is a very powerful company. It is also a very important company to those people the entities that contract with them. But Palantir's business is very diverse in the US. So like you say, it does things from the CIA to the FBI to even Wendy's, many accounting companies, for instance, many tech companies, all that things here and there. But there's one thing different about Palantir UK. Palantir UK controls. Oh, by the way, I'll bring up later. Palantir UK has a very specific function from what I've dug. Palantir UK. And let me have a look. If I have that document with me, the article with me. No, it's very different. So Palantir in the UK, they were very, very powerful in the 2020s because of a, as you know, specific coup incident. You can read some of these articles. I can share it with you. But long story short is, Palantir UK is very odd. Very, very odd. Even odder than the US version. And you'll find out what I mean soon. But long story short, Palantir UK is in charge mainly with government entities in the UK. Palantir US has a much more diverse portfolio, so they do both government and public and private sectors. But Palantir in the UK is almost entirely government sector. Almost entirely. And I want to bring to attention something. Let me just look it up, okay? This is Palantir Gotham. Okay? This is Palantir Gotham. So it is a very comprehensive AI-driven system that does whole kinds of things. But what it does especially effectively is identifying people, identifying their profiles, so profiling, identifying people, their faces, etc., profiling, and cross-referencing their profiles with their actions, whether it be their transactions on everyday life, what they buy, what they eat, what they shop, what they drink, or in this case, what they post online. Palantir Gotham does all of these things. Of course, in the context of Palantir US, it is military. In the context of US, it is military because this is the US website. But long story short, it is very capable of doing other things that do not involve military. And in this case, law enforcement, in the case of the UK law enforcement. Okay? Do you have an idea where things are going? Do you have an idea where things are going, lurkers? Do you have an idea? Lurkers? No, not in this case, darkness. Not in this case. But just so you know, that's not the end of the story. Yes, the UK and US branches do communicate, but the UK does everything within the UK. US largely, other than giving oversight at times to the UK branch, UK for most parts function on its own. And something I have just noticed from the UK branch, let me just look it up. Let me have a look. This was a very, it flew under the radar in the news cycle. It flew under the radar on the news cycle, but the boss of Palantir UK met with Keir Starmer back in around March or April. And him and Keir Starmer had quite a lot of kind things to say to each other. Okay? Not over yet. Look, Mocha, not over yet. Not over yet. So yeah, he's talking about all of this, about the AI, about how Palantir, here we go, Palantir has cut the time it takes for a police force to search details of a suspect by 95%. Is it any wonder? Oh, I shouldn't jump. Just read some of this. This is a very important part. Okay? Now here's the kicker. Here is the kicker. Are you ready? Palantir boss has nothing but kind words to say to Keir Starmer, but here is the kicker. Let me find. There is this person, Oswald Mosley. He is quite a infamous person in the UK. Long story short, he is the head of UK's fascist party back in the 1930s. And if World War II Germany won the war against Britain, he would be Prime Minister of Britain. And let's go back. You all know about him, right? Well, here's the main course. Lewis Mosley is Oswald Mosley's grandson. I told you it would get wilder. I told you it will get more wild. I told you this was the story. This was what I found out. Famous, infamous fascist, head of fascism in UK, has a grandson who runs the UK branch of a company that specializes in profiling people making it easier for police to apprehend people. By the way, Palantir UK was playing a very important role during the 2020 coup because they were first contracted with the NHS, the National Health Services of UK. The National Health Services of UK. And I want to remind you about this part. The whole idea is that Palantir is a data set entity. So what it does is it keeps track of the entire population, in this case UK's population. Well, let's go into I'm going to preface this for legal reasons, everyone, for legal reasons. For legal reasons, I am just speculating, okay? I am just speculating. It is just a shitso VTuber, literally, who being insane and crazy and just talking nonsense, okay? For legal reasons, I am just talking nonsense and I am just writing fanfiction, okay, Lucas? I am just writing fanfiction. None of this you should ever take seriously, but just consider it as entertainment, because it is. That being said, okay? Theoretically, Palantir is able to compile information from various data sets that will assist the UK government. So for instance, what an individual's fate, every individual's faces, every individual's blood type, every individual's purchasing behavior, every individual's what they eat for dinner, what they buy in the shopping center, everything. And of course, they profile each individuals with social media posts and all of that. Very theoretically possible, but there's one more thing that they have checked. Because they have their initial contract was with NHS, and by now it has expanded to different other things, such as especially law enforcement. Let's go back to this digital ID part, mandatory digital ID. Remember what we said here. Access their health information. I may be a shitso. Maybe it's just me grasping at straws. Maybe it's just me grasping at straws. I think I am grasping at straws, Lucas, but the unique digital ID, which would determine whether someone is eligible to work, to pay their bills, to vote online, to sign contracts, to shop, to access their health information. Now, maybe I'm a bit of a shitso and this is all just fanfiction, but this is all within the realm of Palantir UK. It is all within the realm of Palantir UK. Theoretically speaking, indeed, theoretically speaking, it is all speculation. It is all just fanfiction. It is all just fanfiction. But yeah, funny how things work, right? Funny how things work. Funny how things work. A dataset firm that originated in the US just so happens when he opens a UK branch, the grandson of Oswald Mosley, a famous fascist, becomes the head of Palantir UK, and Palantir UK is only in charge of government contracts, unlike its US branch, which is in charge of all kinds from public to private. And for some reason, Palantir UK has access to policing, to health, to who knows what else. As admitted by the UK government, Palantir has cut the time it takes for police to catch suspects. It has taken a lot less time for the UK government to catch suspects. And one more thing, just to remind you. Did you notice the efficiency increase? Did you notice the efficiency increase? If I recall correctly, let me just check if I can find it. Let me just check. Yeah. Notice how easy it is. Long story short, notice how easy it is. Now, this is all just purely academic. By the way, it's all purely academic. Palantir has cut time it takes for police to search details of a suspect by 95%. Palantir has turned its hand in the UK streamlining processes, and lo and behold, the arrests for mean posts online has increased tenfold. Almost 100-fold. 100% near 100% increase. Funny how things work out, right? Funny how things work out. It's like an elaborate. It's like an elaborate show. It's cinema. If you had told me that UK hired the grandson of famous fascist Oswald Mosley as the head of a data to manage the data sets of its entire population, I would not have believed you. Now, all of this is just speculation. Other than the fact that Oswald Mosley's grandson is in charge of Palantir UK, which is also in charge of the population's NHS records and who knows what other records, the rest is just pure fanfiction. Okay? Just pure fanfiction. But it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? It really makes you wonder how it is. It really makes you wonder how it is, how things in UK turn out the way they do. from the mandatory digital ID to the large number of arrests for online posts to this odd little discovery. Everything. Now, I'm not saying that they're all connected for a reason, but I just find all these coincidences to be a bit disturbing. I'm sure they're all just coincidences. I'm sure they're all just coincidences. The story of how CIA-backed Palantir embedded itself in the NHS. Oh, no. This is one thing the Telegraph kind of got wrong. Palantir UK and Palantir US are quite different. They are functionally distinct from each other. Don't blame I would say, yeah, sure, blame Peter Thiel if you want. But I think the bigger microscope, yes, microscope, should be on him. Personally, I believe targeting Peter Thiel and Palantir US defeats the purpose because Palantir UK is subtly different. And by the way, yes, I suspect there is a reason why it's called Palantir. It is a reference to Tolkien, Palantiri, the all-seeing eye. You can see everything. You can see as much as you want or as precise as you want. That is why it's called Palantir. Well, like I say, Lurkers, this is all fanfiction. I was just in the mood for writing a Lord of the Rings fanfic and how it applies in the modern world. So don't mind me for this, okay? Don't mind anything that I say today. Please, don't mind anything I've said today. But I hope you learned something, Lurkers. I hope you learned something a little odd, because when I found out about all of these things, I found it extremely odd. Extremely, extremely odd. Oh boy, what an experience and a half we've had, haven't we, Lurkers? I'm gonna leave the rest for Tuesday, because I've gotten my point across. Questions? Queries? Lurkers? Any questions? Now, just so you know, Mod-chan, this is all just a little fun and games. We are just writing fan fiction. Okay? We are just writing fan fiction for legal purposes. All of this is just fun and games. But yeah, this fanfiction is gonna haunt you for the entire night. Just like a ghost is going to haunt you for the last day of Ghost Month. I write good fanfiction, don't I? I'm a master of writing fanfiction. Well, anyway, if any of you lurkers who are just here for I hope the teaser for my thumbnail and my post did not disappoint you all. I hope I did not disappoint you all because I hyped this discovery up a lot. I hyped this discovery up a lot, and I hope it didn't end up being disappointing. Because it was extremely odd. Oh. Originally, well, here's the truth controller. Originally, tonight was supposed to be a fanfiction night. Well, it is a fanfiction night at the end of the day. Originally it was a different kind of fanfiction night. I did not imagine it to be this kind of a fanfiction. Are you lurkers? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend a bit 20 more minutes. Today, I told you today is going to be a short stream. I'm going to end the stream at the 3-hour mark, okay, lurkers? So right now we have about 20 more minutes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to spend the time to continue my written fanfiction. We were having a talk fanfiction, a yapping fanfiction, but now let's get to just proper written fanfiction. Oh boy. What the hell? Rena, do me a favor and shut up. But anyway, over the coming days, I'm going to make my post about this fanfiction I wrote about on X. It's going to be a fun little fanfiction I'm going to write. Okay? I wanted to, you lurkers are fortunate because I wanted to break the news, break the fanfiction to you personally on stream before I write it on X. Makes it more like a early access kind of thing. Writing isn't going to be a bit hard though. It's going to be quite a bit hard. But like I said, Controller and the rest of you lurkers, we have numbers. We control the culture. All these governments and certain corporations and payment providers, they only have their hard power. They do not have soft power. And when you only have hard power, it's only a matter of time until the people decides to turn on you. You win over the people, you win over their hearts and minds, you are invincible. But when you go around forcing your will onto an unwilling masses, eventually people will find ways to ensure you fail. So, again, do not black pill. Anyway, I'm almost 7,000 subs already. That is very nice to see. Most VTubers wouldn't even get, most starting VTubers wouldn't even get 2,000 subs in 1 year. So I'm very lucky in that regard. And some VTubers who had to suffer, well, not suffer, if they enjoy what they do. They had to grind through 4 to 5 years to reach 10,000 subs. And for me, it's not even 1 year, I'm almost reaching 10k. I'm so thankful for all of you lurkers. I hope my CCV gets a bit higher next time. I would like to have a higher CCV. To be honest, of course I would. Everyone wants. But there'll be some for another time. My priority right now is to stream consistently, which so far I have. But with a little luck, maybe I can make it a 4-day instead of a 3-day. And another time is I need to pick the right timing. And I think multi-stream is still the key thing. If my internet gets better, I think I will consult multi-streaming as a legitimate attempt again. I think multi-streaming would be very beneficial. I'm gonna send my PC back to shop to check. Oh my goodness. Ash, yeah, you should check. That scares me. When your PC keeps crashing like that, it is so scary. Oh my god. But anyway, let's spend the last 15 minutes or so doing fanfiction. I am rambling too much. So where did we stop? Okay. The girl in white did not move, waiting for the hearts of beasts to make their move. Her relaxed posture a silent dare for them to make her day. Made her day, they tried. Oh, Mod-chan, have a good night. Have a good night and rest well. Yeah, the stream is winding down already, so just go have a good rest and I will see you another day. Take care, Mod-chan. Bye-bye. So let me get back to this. Make her day, they tried. Not long after, the hearts of beowulfs rushed towards the solitary girl. Paws raised and maws agape. Beneath the girl's mask, she grinned in excitement and bloodlust. She unsheathed her blade in a split second, and the frozen waste for a brief moment seemed to freeze even further. A gale blew outwards, originating from the girl, a powerful blizzard-like force knocking the various beasts of Grimm back. The next few seconds became a blur as Beowulf after Beowulf was sliced, stabbed, and brutalized by what could only look like a force of nature. The girl effortlessly cut through the hordes of beasts, a mix of both precision and brutality. She also unholstered her equally industrial-looking but well-maintained hand cannon of a pistol, her aim precise and instant as she started to dispatch some straggling Grimm that were much further away. Every shot met its mark, the high-caliber projectiles shredding through the mindless horde. Beneath the menacing red-eyed mask, she was having a passable time. The joy of the slaughter. The joy of the slaughter was tempered by the relative ease of the fight. It was one-sided. These mindless beasts were painfully predictable, and their speeds were woefully insufficient. Last month's stream. No, I was from last week's stream, this one. Their speeds were woefully insufficient to even put her on the defensive despite their numerical advantage. At this rate, she might not even break a sweat. What a disappointment. Just as she was about to end the one-sided slaughter in her mild disappointment, she felt a palpable but familiar shift in the air. The mild winds of the frozen tundra stilled completely, while a dense fog started to fill the air. DZ, I am sorry you feel that way. I still have rose-tinted glasses from Ruby, and I have done the right decision of refusing to watch any season after season 3. So right now I still have a romanticized perception of Ruby. Ruby has potential, too bad the writers are trash. I agree. I very much agree. You can find no better Ruby stories than fanfiction writers. Fanfic writers write better Ruby stories than Rooster Teeth themselves. I agree. Same white black. The same white black. Controller, I'm glad I refused to touch Ruby. Season 1 to 3, 1, 2 and 3, Dark Catcher, only season 1, 2 and 3 are worth watching. Anything after that is complete trash. And I refuse to believe their canon. I refuse to accept their canon. Yes, basically, you are right. Duskblight, you have my condolences for wasting your time watching season 4 onwards. They are bad. They are very, very bad. If it wasn't a clear indicator of how bad it was, the art style went to crap. MGS 5, MGS 5. What is that? Skulls. Oops. Wait. Damn it. Ah, damn it, Brave. Why did you go off full screen on me? I don't need this. There we go. No, I'm just using some ideas. A machete with a pitch black blade. as the moon. Dissolved into the fog. Into the fog. Silence reigned as the last of the grim died. Their corpses dissolving in its familiar red petals. Okay. His body dissolved into the fog. Dissolved in the fog as if you were made through the fog, as if he were a mere controller. This has no Metal Gear Solid crossover. It is a crossover with something different. Or the Parasite Unit's machete. That is all I needed from them. Though to the good Howard, this it meant something complete. Mere milliseconds as the black machete blade fell on her head. The black machete. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna check something for a brief moment. I'm gonna check something for a brief moment. Where is it? 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 Okay. Perfect. I've got my idea. Before he kicked her in the... Launching her? Or what? Forcing her? Knocking her back. Knocking her back from the sheer force of it. That broke through even her aura. How do I... Stephanie Wolves? I am thinking as I am writing, Zephyr. I am locked in. I am trying to envision the characters interacting, and that is quite high right now. unexpected fight. Mm. She lashed. Dusk by you first remember Ruby when he was 17, fresh out of school. Yeah, I remembered when I actually go to the Rooster Teeth channel to watch Ruby Day 1. Because the trailers made it look so cool. Has mother kicked you out of the house again, old man? She lashed. Ruby's weapon is pretty cool, yes. Young is unique, yes, very much unique. Why? What have you been saying? Why have you been saying that it gets deleted? I don't get it. I really don't get it. What have you been saying? Let me just write some more. To receive a scoff from the older man in return. His posture. His posture. Oh, as he proceeded to receive a scoff from the older man in return, as he proceeded to charge towards with blinding speed. Missed, giving body shift between physical and corporeal. Between physical and between corporeal and mist. Rapier against machete. Sparks started to fly. Sparks started to fly. With each blow, sparks started to fly with each blow as both father and daughter struck, parried, and blocked each other's attacks. Let me see. With a well-placed kick. Alright, that was quite an intense little fight. Continue to trade blows until another deadlock happens. Well, basically, controller Monty Ohm died. Everything changed. Ruby was never the same again after Monty died. Unsurprisingly, he knew where the show was meant to go, and after he was dead, people just made it into an abomination. It is what it is, I guess. Truly. But anyway, I think I've written enough for the night. I'm going to write a bit more in my own time. Okay, lurkers? Today is a shorter stream. A nice 3-hour stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to conclude tonight's stream. I'm happy that a lot of you lurkers got a chance to drop out by and say hello today. But I'm going to... the next stream will be next week. Yeah. Let me just get your... let me check. Reminders for you all lurkers. Next stream, the schedule, next stream. It will be this coming Tuesday. This coming Tuesday will be the 9th of September, Same time, as in same day time. My time 10 a.m. Okay? My time 10 a.m. So without further ado, I'm gonna conclude the stream and let's see if there's anyone. Alright. I will... If you are still staying around, I will send you all off to... Who I send you off? Let me check. I'm going to send you all off to Ryan, perhaps, okay? I'll send you all off to Ryan. Yep, I'll send you all off to Ryan. Let me just set everything up, okay? Live settings, edit, customization, redirect, Ryan, save. All right, I think I am done. Okay, so I'll see you all this Tuesday, lurkers, and thank you for all of you who dropped by. I'm going to end the stream and we'll get to Ryan in a few seconds. Thank you, lurkers. I'll see you.